Hi guys. So I want to monthly kind of take you through my PhD journey. Most of you already know my story of coming to Berkeley, and I'm wrapping up my master's in December, and I actually do want to do a PhD. And most people have asked me why a PhD, why not go for a job? Well, for the goal of my life and where I see myself and the level of consultancy and problems I want to solve, gaining the highest level of expertise academically will really enhance you, especially if you do not have connections or if you do not have money, you're not from money, like, So I just knew that doing a PhD would help. However, I have, most times when people want to go to school and stuff, they're very quick to, hey, I want to go to the top schools. I want to go to the best universities or seemingly best universities based on what the news is saying and what the media is saying. Well, I always tell people it wasn't a plan. I wasn't looking for the number one public university in the world when I found Berkeley, and it wasn't about that. If Berkeley did not have the program I wanted, I wouldn't have applied. I never applied for Harvard because they didn't have what I wanted at that time, at that season of my life, and it's just what it is. And so sometimes when people come to me and or send me a message and I'm like, well, I'm not thinking the way you're thinking. For me, it starts down from what I want, and then it begins to unfold into what you gave me what I want. So that's where it starts from. And so that's why when you read my personal statement and my statement of purpose, you can feel the passion, you can see the sense of intentionality and the sense of, that this person knows what they want or what they're talking about. You will know, you will just sense it, even when I talk. And it has also guided me when I came here. I'm not all over the place. I'm not confused about what I'm looking for. I know and I just go for it. I believe that that's one of the what that's that has critically helped me succeed or help me move faster because I'm not. I don't say I have all the answers, though. It's not like I have all the answers, and it's not like I'm very sure about everything. But to a large extent, I have an idea of where I want to be. So I see myself as going to be an emissary of the global north to the global south, and solving problems for nations and continents and world leaders. And I have just been building a lot of critical skills for that. Things like strategic thinking, things like understanding context, things like understanding sustainable development and what it really is, philosophy of technology, understanding cases, why they worked and why they failed and how to do it better. Things like understanding Africa and also kind of understanding here the global north and see what's working and seeing how we can deploy it in a modified way to the continent. I've been very attentive and I've been paying attention. My heart beats for Africa. I love Africa. And I believe that whatever capacity that I'm building here, or God is helping me build here, is going to be relevant to my continent. And so that's kind of a reason or part of the reason why I have chosen to do a PhD. It's long. It doesn't pay as much. When you study, you kind of, for most universities, it's barely minimum wage. And so sometimes it feels like a sacrifice and you want to make all the money. But then I just know, let me just do it now that my head is still book hot. Just do it and get away with it. And so I niched down. I had like 12, 15 universities listed as of January this year. I sent mails to many of them, the graduate school. I researched, and finally I've niched down to three, which I have started applications at. The first one is University of California, Berkeley, which I currently am and applying for the Doctor in Public Health program, which is the DRPH, is a professional doctorate program. I'm also applying at the University of California, San Francisco in the Global Health Sciences program. And then I'm applying at Emory University in the Global Health and Development program. Now, you might be wondering why did you niche down to this? Now, I had other choices on my list before. I had Johns Hopkins, I have Harvard, I had Boston University, I had University of North Carolina, I had Columbia. I had quite a number of interesting schools that had global health programs that I was interested in. Now, there were a few things that kind of informed my choices. Number one, I wanted a multidisciplinary program or an interdisciplinary program. I also wanted something because I have this to entrepreneurship side. At the center and core of me is women technology and impact, that social impact. But there are different ways that I can actually do the impact. Economic empowerment through workforce development, but also healthcare, which is critical for women. Those are my two interests right now. So I wanted an environment where I can do both because somehow they kind of connect to each other, and the economic opportunities for women or their economic status can reflect on their health or impact on the quality of healthcare that they have. Number two, I want a fully funded program, and not just fully funded, but funded enough for myself and my family, my son, and when I get married, or if I get married in the program, I'm not stranded about finances, where I'm barely able to go by. So, financial, the financial contribution that I could get was very important to me. And then I also understood I was a single parent, and as a single parent, most times it takes a village. You can't do away with support. And Berkeley has given me so much support as a single parent. So it was something I also considered that I wanted to have. Since the PhD is a long term thing, I don't want to feel frustrated about it. Now, those were the reasons why when I looked at those things, I chose those schools. University of California, San Francisco is not far from here. It's here in the Bay. Berkeley, of course, is Berkeley because I'm already in Berkeley. I already feel comfortable with Berkeley. Berkeley also allows me to do entrepreneurships and academics very smoothly, and so many opportunities are here, and I really love it here. But I didn't want to do the traditional PhD. I wanted to do the professional doctorate, which was more suited for me. That's why I chose Berkeley. University of California, San Francisco, yes, it's a PhD, but it's quite interdisciplinary as well. And it seems like a DRPH program, and it's also close by. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to go so far. I can actually also be close by. That's why I chose that second. However, I really like the program in Emory, the Emory Global Health and Development Program. Aside the fact that it's very reputable and has strong connections to health organizations like the CDC, which is just not too far from there, it also offers very good research and networking opportunities. Then the thing is, Emory is in Atlanta compared to here in the Bay, the cost of living there is relatively lower. Remember, I'd considered John Hopkins, which is in Maryland, in Baltimore, in Maryland. I'd considered Harvard, University of Massachusetts, and Boston, which were in Boston. The cost of living was not only relatively higher, the weather was also really somehow. My son and I are warm people, so if it's too cold, we can't thrive. And so if we're going to be there, we might need to constantly be on heaters, which was going to be very expensive. And I'm like, I don't want that. The quality of life, we're going to struggle with it in terms of the weather. It's really cold most times. So I had to drop those options. Atlanta, the weather is kind of a lot better, but not, of course, not as here in California. Now, when I spoke to the graduate advisor at Emory, they had told me that they have a very welcoming environment, and they have many family-friendly neighborhood, and they support single parents and international students. They also said they have very competitive funding for the program. So yeah, that's why I chose it. But the program is very interesting, very beautiful, and I really, really love it. So, for Emory, you have to apply directly. For UCSF, you have to apply directly. CSF is University of California, San Francisco. For Berkeley, the DRPH, you have to apply in SOFAS as well as Berkeley. So SOFAS is open and I have started my application. I'm having my current program director review my essays. I've tried to reach out to some people they were going to do my recommendation letter. I reached out to them earlier this year, letting them know, hey, I'm looking at applying for a PhD later in the year, and I might reach out for a recommendation letter. I'm putting stuff together, but yeah, this is my final semester. The PhD starts in the fall of next year. But yeah, this is when application comes in, and my goal and hope is that on or before the middle of October, I would have submitted all applications, getting my applications in early, while I pursue other things. So for me, that's why I'm doing the PhD. The DRPH you can complete in 3 years if you really put in the work, while for the other traditional PhDs maybe 4 to 5 years. But yeah, I'm looking at, hey, I'm 31 now. If I'm able to do those things, maybe before I'm 36, I should be done. Or 35, I'll be done. And then, yeah, I can now really push up. But then here and there, I'm working on projects, building management skills, managerial skills, and actually just building what we're doing in Techie Training Incubator, which is very, very dear to my heart. And a significant product we're building right now is the Higher Emmy, which is something I'm taking fiercely serious and we're working on. So yeah, that's why I want to do a PhD, and that's the journey so far. So from time to time on this channel, I'm going to share my updates and where I'm at, in case you're wondering. So you understand how it goes now. Let me give you some background context. When I came in, I resumed in the fall of last year to Berkeley. I knew that I had some options when I finished either to work, whether in the continent or anywhere else, or to do my PhD. I wasn't sure why or if I wanted to do my PhD. So I spent that whole semester, which was 3 to 4 months, conducting some informational interviews. I sent questionnaires to people who were kind enough to respond. I had sit down sessions and coffee chats with so many people who had completed their PhD or who were currently doing their PhD, especially in the public and global health sector, in the health sector generally, and even those that were in business and those they were leading international firms. Like I had so many interviews. The knowledge I got was interesting. And so by December last year, I had decided that, hey, I'm going to do this. This is something I want to do. I want to commit to. So what happened was from January, I'd niched down to like 10, 15 schools. I began to email them to find out some information and all of that. Some got back to me, some never got back to me. One of the things I found out was, I didn't contact lecturers directly. I contacted the school, the manager or program director of the program. Do I need to get a supervisor before I apply? What are they? Some schools are like that. You have to identify a test supervisor before you apply. So I had to find out, do you need that or you don't? Some said you did, some said you did not. Some were like, well, either or, if you do, it's fine. If you don't, it's okay. It's not something we critically consider. Then I also kind of watched replays of past years' info sessions they had. Now the application window for the 2025 session had not opened, so I was just keeping up to date, and then I kept narrowing down and removing from my canceling up some. Okay, no, I'm not doing this. Oh no, I'm doing this. And so that's how I arrived here. And then over the summer, I began to work on identifying what my research question is, what question I wanted to answer, and how I wanted to answer it. As at summer, I had 6 to 7 schools still there. But when I began to niche down, I didn't find the research question I wanted to be and who I wanted to become. It kind of removed some as well. And then it started helping me frame how I was going to, which question I wanted to put depending on the school I was going to. And yeah, now I've started the application. Now I'm saying this to let you know that most times we make it look easy and make it look like, hey, it just happened. But most times, for most of us, when you see us have results, we've put in the work. There's a lot of work that's gone behind the scenes to prepare actively, not just praying about it or confessing, but also doing the work and, taking the step. How it turns out at the end is up to God, but you just want to make sure that you played your part. So yeah, that's my PhD journey as a single mom and how I'm navigating through it and deciding. While I'm very open to getting married again, and hopefully soon, at this moment, I'm not exactly committed to anyone yet in that regard. And so I decided not to pause my life until he that will come, or who God is bringing. But then when the person comes, if I'm yet to make a decision, by that time we can walk our way around it. If I'd already made a decision and maybe started, then we find a way to live a blended life. For a while, I I really wish that I had met the person before I started or before I take some moves. Not because I wanted to be my life around a man. Family is very important to me, and so I just wish it was a decision we could take together, looking at our futures and what we wanted, and where it might be better suited for us as a family. We could work together because I just knew that is what are the odds that by the time I finish I'm not married. So the struggle is not in blending so much, but then we just get to go through that phase together, even if we're not exactly wedded before I start, but at least we decide and we know we're planning towards something. And I realized that some part of me was holding back because I was waiting for that person or that thing. But then I decided, hey, I'm applying for this. Let me just go ahead. I've always somehow believed that whoever God was going to send to me was going to meet me in my place of assignment, doing purpose. And then we find a way to sync and then we journey together. So, yeah. So that's how I'm navigating graduate life, graduate school life, PhD with as a single parent. And yeah, so keep following me from time to time. I won't drop this. This is just an update from where I'm coming from and where I am at yet now. Maybe when I submit my application, I will also share with you guys what I submitted and what it's like and where I finally submitted the application. Okay, everyone. Bye.